I'm here in Studio 61 with Magdalena Jandro from Jandro Wealth Management. This morning we're talking about charitable donations. Now is the time when people really start thinking about the year is winding down. And if people haven't donated where they want to, this is really kind of crunch time. We got to get it in before the end of the year. What are some things that people need to keep in mind?
Sure. So obviously giving to charity is a great thing to do. You're helping people in need, but you got to get those charitable donations in by the end of the year if you want that tax deduction. So there's a lot of great ways to do that. Just itemizing your taxes. If you're taking a required minimum distribution, you can give part of that or all of that. A donor advised fund might be useful for you, or even gifting appreciated investments.
Talk a little bit more about that, how you do that, how you go about it.
Sure. So you could just give a cash donation, in which case you want to make sure in all of these cases that where you're donating is an IRS approved charity. 501c3 status. If you give a cash donation, you need a receipt, and you submit that when you're doing your taxes. Some of the other strategies are gifting from your retirement accounts,
right,
or your donor advised fund account, or even appreciated stock, and that you should work with a professional because it can get a little bit more complicated.
Let's talk about minimum distributions.
Sure. So if you're in your 70s, likely you know that you are forced to take money out of your retirement accounts that are pre-tax, like a traditional IRA or a 401k. That's called a required minimum distribution, and you pay taxes on that withdrawal. Now, some folks don't need all of that to live on in retirement, in which case they can give up to $100,000 a year to their favorite charity. And what's great about that is you don't pay taxes on that gift, and it's not counted as your adjusted gross income, which can keep your Medicare premiums lower.
And what about donor-assisted funds?
Yeah, donor-advised funds are a foundation that you can start in your family's name, but they're really easy to administer and quite low cost. And they're really good for those folks that give constantly or give to many charities, because you can make a lump sum donation into your donor advised fund, meaning a greater tax deduction in this given year, and then give over time to your favorite charities.
And what are some things people need to keep in mind? Because we hear so often, this time of year especially, scams.
Yes, absolutely. So the IRS does have a search engine on their website to look for charities that are actually have that 501c3 status. So that is most important. I always say, check out the website, try to give them a call, and if it feels fishy, it might be. So definitely check out the IRS website first, and then do some more due diligence as well.
And as always, it's really important to keep track of all of your charitable donations for the end of the year when you're going to see your tax preparer.
Absolutely.
So we keep those phone numbers, keep those numbers, and the 504c numbers. So
exactly.
Tax ID, that's what's really critical.
Exactly. The tax ID is very critical, and most places that you donate should give you a receipt, and of course it should look very legitimate, and you bring that with you to your tax accountant.
Right. Any other tips for us to keep in mind?
I would just say, work with a professional if you're going to do something greater than a cash donation, like if you're giving appreciated stock. It's a great way to avoid paying that capital gains tax. A lot of people don't know you can give a stock or bonds or any investments directly to charity, but there's some nuances when you're doing that, so speak with a professional.
And what if somebody might be wondering as far as what is the maximum or minimum charitable donation to reap the best tax benefits? Is there a sort of number?
Sure. So back in 2017, the tax laws changed, and that's a really great question, because now we can have unlimited itemized deductions. But if you're giving a charity, you have to give enough so that it brings you over the standard tax deduction, so that you can itemize, right? So that is a great question for your tax professional or your financial advisor. How much do I have to give to get over that standard deduction to actually get the tax benefit of giving?
Right. All right. Thank you so much for
Thank
bringing
you.
us. And your website for folks to find out more?
JandraWealth.com.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Important information.
Thanks.